It really upsets me that people in the industry really think that they could talk to people any type of way, that they could treat people any type of way. And I'm not saying that it's everybody. I have friends and I have people that I know in the industry that do not act like this. Okay. But a big majority of them do, okay? Specifically like rappers and people in the hip hop industry. Like it's just there's something that makes them think that specifically, especially with women, with black women, that they could talk to them or treat them any type of way. Hey, friends, welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tong, and today we're diving into a new and fun episode. So, this actually is inspired by the show Rap Shit. I don't know if y'all watch it, but it's a show on HBO. It's produced by Issa Rae. So, you know I got to support Issa, okay? Anything that Issa does. If you guys don't know who Issa Rae is, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Like, what are you living in a box? Like, basically, Issa Rae, she was the creator of the show Insecure that blew up on HBO. And basically, like, that kind of kicked off her career. But she's amazing. She's like a writer, she's an actress, she's a producer, she does all the things. And she's a beautiful black queen. Okay. So give it up for Issa. I need like some applause on this show. I'm gonna start adding in little effects or whatever. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, so she has this new show, Rap Shit, and it's actually on season 2. So it came out last week. There's 2 episodes out. If you guys watch it, hopefully you're caught up because there's gonna be like some super small teasers. I won't give everything, but even if you don't watch the show, I got you because I'm gonna explain the situation. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why I was inspired by that episode and exactly like what we're talking about here. Okay. So basically, on the show, okay, it's these 2 girls. They're living in Miami and they're out here trying to make it as rappers. Okay, it's like 2 girls. Think about like the city girls, right? It's that vibe. So they're in Miami. They're like, meeting people, getting these opportunities. They like make this hit song. They start going to like Spotify and they're getting put on to opportunities and things and all that, whatever. Okay, right? And basically, the last episode kind of shows them in like, a new setting, being around like bigger celebrities, celebrities that people idolize and specifically rappers. Okay. Rappers. So we're going to talk about more of like the rap industry and like the hip hop culture and that whole thing. And then how that correlates to misogyny and silencing women and all that stuff. Okay. And if you guys don't already know, I guess I would consider myself a feminist. I'm not like, I guess, a traditional feminist that like really speaks out against things and like protests and all that stuff, but I would consider myself a feminist. Okay. I preach women empowerment, from head to toe. Like, that's pretty much what I've built my business on. I fully support women. I am a woman. Like, I know the things that we have to deal with, and especially in the industry, which is what I'm going to talk about today, like getting, into some story times and all that. But all that to say, right? So basically, she's in this setting, there's like this big rapper around, and basically it's a situation where like there's groupies, right? There's women around, and that's really how it be. Okay. So before we get into that, I just want to give you guys a little bit of like a backstory related to me, and then I'll tie everything in together. So I used to be a hot girl. Okay, let me just say that right now. So I'm about to be 32 next week, but I've lived my life, honey. Okay, so I started clubbing from probably like 18, possibly, no, definitely 18. It was after high school. I wasn't like clubbing in high school. I was going to like low key parties, but I really started like going out after I graduated high school, my senior year. Okay. And I was dating a promoter who I'd known since like middle school. So started going out. He was building, his repertoire in the city, New York City, by the way, I'm talking about. And we would go out and started going to like more exclusive parties and being around more celebrities. So I've definitely been in that whole nightlife and celebrity era of being out, like being around celebrities and all that. And this isn't to brag, trust me, like this is really nothing to brag about. Like, I'm not with the whole needing to be around celebrities for validation or feeling like it's cool, because it's honestly like it's not that cool. And and a lot of celebrities are not cool. Okay. And if you know me, if y'all really, really know me, the ones who really, really know me, I'm sure you guys are probably thinking about like a specific instance and celebrity that you think I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about it. And if you know, you know, okay? But I will bring it slightly back to that, okay? This isn't a podcast or an episode on here to like bash celebrities or talk about like how celebrities, some of them ain't shit. It's not that type of episode, okay? I want to bring more light to the specific topic of like misogyny and women being silenced in the industry, right? So, going back to like my whole era of being out, being in the clubs, partying, that whole thing, right? Like, I've definitely been in the club with like Chris Brown, I've been in the club with Neo, I've been in the club with Jeremiah. Like, there's been instances, okay? And all that to say, like, yeah, it's cool, when you're young. It's like, oh my God, like this celebrity. And I was never like a groupie type of girl that like was asking. I think I've taken a picture with like two celebrities, maybe. Like one of them was Terrence J. If you guys remember Terrence J from 106 in Park, and then he was in what's that movie? Damn, what's that movie? Think Like a Man. That movie. So he was in that, but that was way before that when I had gone out and taken a picture with him. But yeah, him, I forgot who else I think I took a picture with Dawn from Danity Kane. So there was like, this era, but also it depends on the celebs. Like you just have to know who's going to be willing to take a picture, or you have to approach them in a way where it's not like you're thirsty. You're just like, oh, hey, like, can we just take this selfie real quick? But all that to say, right? Like there was definitely a time, and I was clubbing from, I want to say like 18 to like definitely like 22. I want to say like 23 is when I started phasing out. Definitely, yeah, definitely around 23. So 23 is when I, started calming down more and doing different things like, traveling and going out to eat. I was kind of already over that whole party club thing because I lived it. I lived it for a couple of years. I had seen a lot, there have definitely been instances where I've gone to like after parties after the club, and I've seen people doing drugs, and I've seen a couple things. Um Definitely have been like offered, to do certain things that I've turned down, politely declined. And yeah, like I live that life, right? I've definitely done, I've seen it, I've seen it. I've seen it. I lived it. It's great. It was fun. The last straw for me, I think, was, I don't even remember what year this was, but the last straw for me, like really being out and like around celebrities, like I remember being in a recording studio with one of Diddy's sons. I'm not gonna say which one, but in a recording studio, I was invited to like some party. We were going to like some party or whatever with somebody. It was like a friend of a friend. So we ended up like being in the studio. I didn't even know he was gonna be there, but we were in the studio with him, and then we had all went together. I think we took like maybe like 2 or 3 Ubers. It was like a big group, and we went to some club. I don't know if he had like a performance or something, but long story short, it ends up being like kind of like a fake shootout. Like I never heard guns or whatever, but I just saw people running, and we literally were like hiding or whatever. And I was just like, you know what, this ain't it. Okay, I'm not trying to die in the club. Okay, I'm not trying to die in the club. So after that, I kind of was just like, yeah, this ain't for me. And that was a while ago. But that, all that to say, right, I just wanted to give you guys a little backstory of like where I come from and how I can relate to this whole rap shit story. So fast forward now, okay, now we're back on the show. So I'm watching the show this weekend, and there was this instance where Shauna, if you guys watch, so Shauna's in like, some after party, some late night thing with the artist, and he basically is like picking and choosing which girls he wants to stay, and the whole like kind of topic of colorism comes up, right? Like trying to basically get rid of the dark skinned girls. And this is something that definitely happens too. Okay. This is definitely something that happens. I've definitely been to clubs where I've seen them specifically turning down darker skinned women. I've also been to clubs where, based on just how you look, they're like, no. I've definitely seen girls leave their friends at the door because the doorman was like, okay, you guys can come in, but them two, nah. And it's happened to me too, like on both sides. Like either they weren't trying to let me in for whatever reason, possibly because, I'm a darker girl. Or I've definitely been on the other side where they didn't want to let in my friends. Now, that's the difference between me and some of you girls out here, okay? I'm not leaving my friend. Like, I'm not doing that unless my friend is like, nah, really, like, I'm going home. I'm not with it. You just go ahead, like, have fun. Like, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, then maybe. But even still, it's like if you're acting this crazy, why do I even want to come inside? So I've definitely been in situations like that where they weren't trying to let us in, or they weren't trying to let in my friend and only select few. So that whole thing can be very annoying. Okay. So this situation, again, going back to the show, Sean is in this room and the artist is low key being disrespectful, trying to like basically question these girls' intelligence, kind of like pick and choose, select the girls he wanted to stay in the room. So Shauna, her character, if you watch the show, she's like kind of outspoken. She goes against the grain. Her mouth kind of gets her in trouble. Also her actions, she's on something right now. But she basically kind of like speaks out and she's being like a smart ass. And the guy basically ends up humiliating her in front of people. And that just really hit like a soft spot for me because I've definitely been in situations, one specifically where I was hanging out with like a celebrity, right? Not even celebrity, a celebrity's brother. And he was low key, like kind of disrespectful. Like we had gotten in the car, it was like me and two of my friends, and we were going like to get food after the club. If you used to go out in the city or you still do, like that was a thing. Like the club ends at 4 and then you're hungry, you go out to like a diner or whatever. So we were about to go out and I think I had asked like, where are we going? And he said something like, if you're gonna ask questions like that, you could get out the car. So I was like, all right. And at this point, like we have to remember that Marissa was not the same Marissa as now. This Marissa would have gladly gotten out the car. Okay. That Marissa at the time was just like, down, trying to be down. Also, just not wanting to speak up, right? Not wanting to embarrass my friends, not wanting to make a scene, not wanting to just make the situation awkward, even though the situation was already awkward because he made it awkward, right? So basically, I kind of just shut up and I went with it. We went where we went, we went and we got food, all that stuff, right? But all that to say, like, it really upsets me that people in the industry really think that they could talk to people any type of way, that they could treat people any type of way. And I'm not saying that it's everybody. I have friends and I have people that I know in the industry that do not act like this, okay? But a big majority of them do, okay? Specifically like rappers and people in the hip hop industry. Like it's just there's something that makes them think that, specifically, especially with women, with black women, that they could talk to them or treat them any type of way. And it's never acceptable. It's never acceptable. And even though it's not acceptable in our eyes as women, as just people who have common sense or know how to treat people, even though it's unacceptable to us, it's acceptable because people are allowing it to happen, right? The groupies, the girls, right? Even me allowing that situation to even go down, and for me to just shut up and sit back and like go with the flow, right? Like that's how people continue to get away with things. That's how they continue to, you know, treat people, to be able to treat people the way that they do, because it's allowed. Nobody's calling them out. And that's what happens when your head gets too big or you hang around a bunch of yes people who are constantly just agreeing with what you're doing, constantly just saying yes, constantly just going with whatever, suggestions or ideas that you have. You have to have people that challenge you. If you don't have people in your circle that challenge you, you're not with the right people, right? But we're gonna end the episode here. We're definitely gonna come back to this in a part 2 because I definitely have more stories and all that. But if you guys are currently watching Rap Shit, definitely drop a comment. Let me know what you thought about that episode, if you know what I'm talking about. If you guys don't watch it, definitely make sure you catch up because right now season 2 just started. There's 2 episodes out, but season 1 was good. I know this season is going to be good. I'm definitely going to be watching, but we were definitely going to come back to this topic, okay, of misogyny, more stories, more story time for you guys and all that. But I'm trying to keep these episodes short. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Definitely make sure you guys subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, rate and review the podcast. I appreciate you guys so much. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.